In the heart of the Midwest, beneath the expansive skies of Iowa, a legacy of justice, service, and leadership has flourished over 150 years. The Iowa State Bar Association stands at the forefront of this legacy, driving change and setting standards that have shaped the legal landscape, embodying Iowa's pioneering role in addressing complex legal issues. Founded in 1874, within the historic walls of the Polk County Courthouse, the Iowa State Bar Association predates even the American Bar Association. Its mission to uphold justice and excellence has deeply influenced not just Iowa, but the nation.
Lawyers were responsible for the formation of this country, of our democracy, and as democracy comes under attack, it will be lawyers that will be responsible for preserving our democracy and our nation.
The Iowa State Bar Association has been, I think, a critical part of my career. Practicing law can be kind of an isolating experience, even if you're in a firm with other people.
You're in your office, you're doing your work for your client, and then you're working hard, and then you go home. It's having those connections to say, okay, I don't understand this, or what did you do in this situation, or I'm having this problem with a client. That's what the Bar Association does for you.
We're a profession of the 7,000 attorneys in Iowa, and I always like to think that we're out here to improve the administration of justice.
We've probably passed over half of the chapters in the Code of Iowa. We've either written them ourselves or participated in them. It's just been a monumental piece of work that we've been involved in.
In times of disaster and hardship, the Iowa State Bar Association has stood firm as a steadfast source of support. Whether it was the Sioux City plane crash, the floods in Cedar Rapids, the destructive tornadoes in Parkersburg and Marshalltown, or the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina on the Gulf Coast, members of the Iowa Bar Association have consistently come together to offer assistance and support.
They rise to the occasion anytime there is a natural disaster or other catastrophic event, not just in their community, but across the state. I think of the derecho that impacted Cedar Rapids so heavily several years ago. And Iowa lawyers showed up, helped. Same kind of response when there's a tornado, a flood, any kind of disaster. So they're immensely valuable members of society.
As the Iowa State Bar Association searched for a lasting home, it chose a historic building in Des Moines, nestled close to both the state capitol and the Iowa Judicial Branch building. Originally a railroad freight depot in 1902, this notable landmark now stands as a testament to the association's unwavering commitment to service and the legal profession, bridging the rich history of the past with the spirit of today's legal community.
There was about 3 different locations that the Bar Association was looking at, and this was what was decided on, which is a perfect location. We're at the foothills of the Capitol. In the past, our offices were very small, so really you did not see a lot of attorneys that came in. Here, all the members come here. It's almost on a daily occurrence that we have meetings, mediations, hearings, board meetings. They're coming and going all day long. It's like a home away from home is what it is.
857 people had contributed to this project. This building represents the giving of a lot of lawyers to their profession. It's a real source of pride, I think, of all lawyers that come here.
As the American experiment progressed and the line between politics and justice began to blur, the landscape of American judicial history was forever altered with the introduction of the Missouri Plan, a revolutionary method for appointing judges via a nonpartisan commission.
Well, the Missouri Plan did exactly that. It got politics out of the appointment of judges, and we became the leading state in the country with the adoption of the Missouri Plan.
We have a modified plan that says we're going to bring together members of the community as well as lawyers to serve on a commission to really vet the applicants so that we provide the governor then with the best qualified of that group to choose from. I think it provides a nice balance between making sure that the politics does not get too involved in the process.
A lot of people don't realize this, but when there's 9 of us sitting around talking from the Court of Appeals, we all come from different backgrounds, but I have never in my 4+ years on the court had a discussion that had political overtones in terms of making a decision on the case.
The Iowa State Bar Association has been at the forefront of civil rights advancements, notably backing the push for gender and racial equality. It played a significant role during pivotal moments, such as the landmark case of Varnum versus Bryan in 2009, where Iowa became one of the first states to recognize same-sex marriage. This decision underscored Iowa's historical commitment to progressive ideals and justice for all.
I think Iowa's been a leader when it comes to justice and in particular civil rights because of the quality of the people that we have here, the character of the people that we have here. I think we have some very forward-thinking lawyers in the state, and I think when you get an organization like the Bar Association that takes all those talented people and it kind of becomes a crucible, it leads to some great things. And so I think it's remarkable but not surprising to me that we've been ahead of the curve when you look back to the 1830s with the In re the Matter of Ralph and the civil rights component of that, of recognizing that a slave from Missouri was free because he was in a free territory and we weren't going to treat him as a fugitive slave. I think that's remarkable and much ahead of when the U.S. Supreme Court started doing the same thing. It doesn't surprise me at all that we were the first state to allow a woman to be a member of the bar.
Arabella Mansfield was from Mount Pleasant. She was the first woman licensed to practice law in the United States. Actually, she had to get special dispensation from the Supreme Court to be licensed because at that time it was illegal in Iowa for women to be licensed to practice law. But because she scored so high on her test, the Supreme Court licensed her, and then that led to the legislature changing the law and allowing women to become licensed in Iowa. I think back to that moment, I think back to what Arabelle did, and I think to myself, how did they have that courage? How did they have the ability to think, nobody has ever done this before, but I'm going to do it?
In 1925, amidst an era where segregation was the norm, the National Bar Association was born in Des Moines, Iowa. This founding, led by African American lawyers excluded from the American Bar Association, was a bold step towards justice and equality in the legal field. In a speech to the American Bar Association, Iowa Bar President James Crosby underscored Iowa's commitment to civil rights for all.
And he talked about the refusal of the American Bar Association to allow African Americans, and he denounces his American Bar Association membership after this great speech, and he ends the speech. He says, as for the American Bar Association, they can stand for one thing, but the Iowa State Bar Association will stand behind the principles enunciated in the Declaration of Independence.
Iowa has a long-standing commitment to promoting equality, opportunities for everyone. The doors are open.
Seeing someone doing something, and until you see someone that looks like you doing something, you really don't have any idea that that's a possibility.
Since its start in 1983, the Iowa Mock Trial program has given thousands of students the chance to get a close-up look at the judicial process. The Iowa High School Mock Trial program is among the largest in the nation, and the Iowa Middle School Mock Trial program is the largest in the nation.
When I was in 6th grade, my mom told me I needed to try this new thing, mock trial. And I did it, and since then I was going to be an attorney. When I started mock trial, I loved a number of things. I loved the team aspect. I loved the fact that we were being taught to think critically, And now looking back, I just loved a place where we learned to be collegiate with competitors, with our teammates, and those kinds of things. And that's something I've carried through since then.
Law is very structured, but in mock trial, you're putting on a performance. You are explaining to somebody who has no background with what you're doing a course of events and why those course of events make your point. It is everything you do is part of your story to make a point through that storytelling. And that's the biggest lesson that mock trial taught me.
The Iowa State Bar Association was important in my life before I knew it. And now looking back, I realize the Iowa State Bar Association was kind of a key player leading me to the legal community.
The Iowa State Bar Association has been a through line of my legal career. The benefits for me personally are far too many to count, and I'm sure they are for others as well.
The Iowa State Bar Association has meant everything to me, and even at every stage of my career.
I have gained so much from it, professionally and personally. I want to thank all the people whether it's the staff, whether it's the volunteers, whether it's the officers, everyone that has made the Iowa State Bar Association what it is today. We should all be proud, and I am proud.
Under the expansive skies of Iowa, the legacy of leadership, vision, and commitment has shaped more than a century and a half of justice. And as the decades move along, the Iowa State Bar Association will continue to uphold these enduring ideals, steadfast in the pursuit of service and community, a beacon of excellence for generations to come.